What is going on, YouTube? Pass the prop back here again. It is Monday Night Football edition. Ready to roll with you. Recapping Week 11 while we're at it as well. Joined as always by my guy, Stu. How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. Can't complain. Another week of NFL football here. Another chance to make some money. I didn't have the best week in the world, so I'm not going to lie and say I'm, sunshine and rainbows over here. I'm ready to go. So, excited for at least we have football. It might not be the best game in the world, probably not going to be laser focused in front of the TV tonight, but do got some plays we like to talk about today. And yeah, ready to go.
Yeah. It would have been a good game, right? It would have been if the Cowboys were playing up to potential, even though I think it's hilarious. Kind of hearing you kind of talk about this roster construction week one, and then now everybody's talking about it now. It's like, you kind of could tell early on, and now you just take out Dak, and it's going to be a fun one to talk about. Let's get through our recap. We got 15 of you guys in here in the first couple minutes. We appreciate you guys popping on live with us for our regular scheduled programming. We're here at the regular time now, finally. But let's recap quick, and we will get it rolling.
Yeah, tough way to start the recap here. Drake May hooked on 27 exactly. They even had a 4th and inches, I believe, play that they were obviously going to QB sneak it on, and then they sent somebody in motion, got a false start. Couldn't even get the run play there. So that was unfortunate. Anytime you get stuck on the number, it makes it that much more painful. But did have a little bit on longest rush, so I kind of made a little bit of my money back. But yeah, unfortunate with May. Got hooked for the first time on the show this year.
Oh yeah, dude, it's tough. Like I had May. I had my 3 quarterbacks this week in DFS. I do my only 3 entries during these huge fucking slates. Like I ain't playing. If you're throwing money in the Millie Maker, just might as well just go buy a lottery ticket, bro. Like literally, that's pretty much what it is. There's not even a point in doing them. So I've been doing 3 entries. I had Drake May as one of my quarterbacks. He did well, and then my other one was Mr. Jameis Winston. And let me get my rant out early. I'm gonna get it out early. What the fuck are the Lions doing up 42-7, passing the whole way down the field? Bro, one of these dudes gonna get hurt, and I'm gonna just watch. I'm gonna laugh. Like I don't mind Lions guys. Right? I don't mind the Lions. They're talking too much, but fuck them. Like I don't care. Right? That's part of the game. They are annoying, but it's like I hate the Bears more. I hate the Vikings more, but it is what it is. What are you doing, dude? Like you're up 42-7. You have 4 touchdowns. Goff's at 350. You keep him in to just throw 80 yards to Amon-Ra. I'm like, what are we doing here? Because I had Winston again to lead the week in passing yards, and I'm like, this is locked because Goff's probably coming out. I think it was 49 at the time, and they still pass it right down the field. I'm like, dude, what are we doing, bro? Like, I get it, like you want to, like, but you can't tell me you should just be running out the clock. You're up 40 or 35 points. This ain't the college football playoffs, bro, where you need all these numbers to go with you. It's your number. It's just if you win the game. And I'm like, dude, one of these times, man, somebody's just going to tear up something. And I won't even feel bad at this point. Like, what are you doing, bro? Obviously, that cost me a 16-1 ticket on Jameis because Jameis ended up with 400 and 2 touchdowns. So I just had to get that out there. I was so surprised. Like, you've already lost probably one of your best 3 players, Nate Hutchinson, this year. You've seen the injury bug hit your team. You just lost your best linebacker. And Anzalone, and in the same game he breaks his arm. You're gonna keep running out your best players up 35. Those other dudes, if I'm those other dudes, I probably want to fight them, right? I'd probably want to fight them in the middle of the game and take it unsportsmanlike and throw something, like throw hands or something, because you're just like, why are you throwing this whole time? So I was just really surprised by that, but yeah, that one cost me a 17-1 ticket on Jameis leading passer.
Yeah, no, that was brutal. I mean, it's not even like a rivalry game. Like if it's like the Packers or something, like, okay, you bully a team that's bullied you for years. I get that a little bit more. A division rivalry. This is the fucking Jaguars. Like, I don't know. You nailed it. Hutchinson got hurt earlier in the year, late in the game, where even he probably could have gotten out at that point. You'd think you'd learn something, right? I mean, this is Like, you have serious games. You're a Super Bowl contender, and you spent your energy blowing out the Jaguars. And yeah, they went for it on like 4th and 5, up like what,
35?
like 35 points in that. It was like, oh wow. So unfortunate, obviously you nailed the Winston call. We didn't really go over that much doing straight to the rank. You nailed it there, obviously. But yeah, unfortunate beat on that longest ticket right there.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know how this didn't hit, honestly. In a game where he throws for 400, how the fuck does he not get this guy there?
Yeah, just summary my week pretty much, like hooked on May, then, picked the wrong guy with Elijah Moore the other week, 9 targets, only, 3 catches on the show. Then we go to Tillman, 8 targets, freaking 395 passing yards or whatever, and still cannot get 60 receiving yards. Very unfortunate. Not a bad beat, I guess, just a bad call. So unfortunate here. Don't got much else to say there. I mean, it sucked. I wish he won this bet. I was hoping that 2-minute drill, they'd send him back out there, but then they immediately scored so fast. And then DTR comes out, they run the clock out. So it is what it is. Felt good about both these calls, but didn't go my way.
Yeah, I was surprised they brought DTR in. But that's what I'm saying. Like, you're down 21 with 3 minutes left, and they pull their quarterback after having one of the best days of the year. I mean, and then you watch the Lions, and then they're up 40 and still passing. It's crazy. But, wish we would have got there. I have Tillman in fantasy. Didn't do me too well. And one of my big leagues, or one of my big lineups, my best lineup was the one with Jamison Tillman. And I still made it, top 50 in one of those 3-entry contests. And I'm like, damn, dude. Tillman had a ton of fucking targets, too. Like, he was getting targeted. It's just, Winston's good for like 4 or 5 of those a game where he just misses, right? He's just like trying to make something happen that probably didn't need to happen. And unfortunately, those, like, probably 90% of those throws were to Tillman in that spot. So heading over to my other one, we did get to cash our plus money spot. Felt good about this spot with our boy Kareem Hunt getting exactly 60 rushing yards. Josh Jacobs looked fantastic, man. Josh Jacobs was awesome. I don't even want to talk about the defense. Send that motherfucker back to Boston College, bro. That shit was awful. I don't even want to talk about that game. That was fucking awful to watch that. And it was just, goddamn, bro. But Josh Jacobs, a fucking workhorse, man. I think he had like 26 touches. He was in that lineup with Jameis Winston that made it up to the top because nobody owned him. And it was just because Josh Jacobs got it done through the air, got it done on the ground. I mean, we might need to be talking about him in the receiving game a little bit more because that dude looked really good underneath.
Yeah, no, this is a great call, obviously. I was even looking at Josh Jacobs, but by Sunday morning, his line was way up there. I think he just kept getting bet and bet throughout the week. So it's obviously good to get that early here on the show, get that nice, alt line right here, which, he really didn't need because he popped off right there. So that was a great call. Definitely going to be trying to back Jacobs a little bit more as the season goes on, especially like you said, the receiving game might be a little bit of an undervalued asset of his game, especially if they're trailing, maybe a game that they're going to be underdogs in, let's say the Lions, something like that coming up. Definitely could be a great spot to back them. And then, Kareem Hunt just did what they did all year long, like, 4 or 5 yards at a time, simple. They didn't change the game plan too much, so that was nice and easy. Good plus money cash.
That was obviously feeling pretty good. Let's talk about some long shots. I thought Brees is what was he at? He had to be up there. He had to be damn close.
Yeah, where did he finish at? Let's see.
I know he had like 140 total. I don't know if he got to the 100 rushing.
78 rushing right there.
And then he had like 60 receiving because he was the top fantasy back this week on Sunday. So he did really, really well. Talk about that. I think mine might be a little worse because this motherfucker scored 2 tutties, dude. And I took the 70 rushing yards. He scored 2 touchdowns. He looked fantastic. I had some Anthony Richardson this week. Woo! Feeling great about it. I was on a very, very small island of 0.6% of the lineups in my field. Unfortunately, I had in that lineup, I also played Jonathan Taylor, and because I thought I'd get a little bit of the correlation there because he doesn't pass the ball down or he's just trucking the ball down the field. I thought they'd be losing, but surprisingly, they're winning. They're beating the Jets now. So, goddamn, that Jets team's a joke. I don't know what's worse, the Jets or the Cowboys, and we're going to talk about both, but they're both fucking grossly bad.
Yeah, no, I mean I feel the same exact way. It was like the whole Brees thing was kind of just, like I think they're going to be winning. I think they're going to be in control, and he had a good game, but then they had to pass a bunch because Anthony Richardson looked like the Anthony Richardson of last year a little bit more, right? We saw a little bit more of the dynamic playmaking. We saw the rushing a little bit more. So definitely like this. Hopefully we can go back to Richardson. I don't even know who they're playing next week, but I hope he keeps it up because this team's a lot more fun when he's dialed in like that.
Yeah, and just, getting normal called plays for runs, right? Not just broken down plays, right? That's what I thought it was going to be, but they really didn't get after him. I think they had 2 sacks. Richardson takes a ton of sacks, and they couldn't get any pressure on him. Probably one of the worst firings I've seen in losing Robert Saleh. Like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, that was terrible. They'll forever be bad. And I love watching I guess we could transition into this before we get into, talking about our takeaways from the week. But, man, some of these coaches getting fired right away, kind of crazy. And then I look at this team. Mike McCarthy should have been not even on the fucking roster, bro. This dude sucks. He's been fucking shit for a long time, and they keep him around. What are we doing, bro? He is a terrible coach. Like, he didn't do anything. You saw Aaron Rodgers run the whole team. He did that back then too. And obviously Rodgers was good enough to get the job done. Now you're going to put him in charge of this spot? Like, and then they lose Kellen Moore because they didn't give him the head coaching job. You know what I mean? Like, you just fucked up everything, man. And obviously you see Saleh lose his job. And it was against the Vikings, I think. And it was against 2 other good teams that now have winning records. I think one of them was the Cardinals as well. Or not the Cardinals. Oh, fuck. I'm blanking on the team that they lost to, and it was a touchdown game. But my God, dude, how do you get rid of that guy? Like, this defense has taken a shit. They are now bottom 5 defense in the NFL. They were a top 3. They only gave up 2 touchdowns in those games they were losing, bro. It was crazy. And you still get rid of them. It's just, man, I don't know what the Jets are doing. Not much else to say on that.
Yeah, my thing is, like, if you're going to go from a defensive head coach and you want to get rid of him, okay, whatever. Don't just get like a budget version of him to take over for the rest of the year. Like, if you're going to do that, get some, 29-year-old offensive assistant and let him try to cook, let him go to work, drop the Madden playbook. You just went from Saleh to just a Saleh that can't motivate the defense. You know what I mean? Like, you just took the good part of Saleh and you kept all the boring, the conservative, the not willing to take risks. You have all that stuff. Saleh, those were his negative qualities, and you just kept those, and you got rid of the kind of one thing he did, which that guy can coach a fucking defense. Nobody in the world is going to deny that. So hopefully your Packers, I saw there were the rumors. That would be crazy midseason pickup, obviously. It's probably not going to happen. Maybe some kind of consulting role or something like that, get him on the roster. But, man, that's a guy that's going to be, if he's not head coach next year, which I don't think he will be. We'll see what the thing is. I think he'll be one of the best defensive coordinator hires in the league. So as for McCarthy, we've been calling for him to get fired for like 3 years on year. It's Jerry's world. He's going to keep on letting these guys, coach until they fail. Did it with Garrett all those years back. So, I'm fine with it. Fuck the Cowboys. It's good to see them crumble apart like this. But yeah, they're obviously not going to really do anything with this coaching staff right now. My favorite part about the McCarthy thing was when it's an old meme now, but the took the year off to learn analytics thing that they interview him about, that they always play before the big games and stuff, where it's like, oh yeah, McCarthy was just grinding tape a year straight, learning from the new kids, learning the new age of football. It's like, that's never been shown in his life. The guy didn't change a single bit since he came back. So I don't know. It's always fun for me to watch that. I enjoy the Cowboys' downfall as much as anybody.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about from this week? I think you obviously got the Bears. You cashed on that +5. I'm trying to remember which one I talked about on the show. Was I on?
I think you had Raiders.
Was
right?
I Raiders or Seattle? I know I talked about Seattle at the end, but I think I might have taken Raiders first. But feel good about Seattle. I know we both talked about that as being like our honorable mention, so we ended up cashing that one because fucking straight up win. What's going on with San Francisco, Stu? Before we get into these ones, we got San Francisco to talk about a little bit. We can talk about some of the Bengals in that late night game and just kind of how bad they've been in these one-score games. There's a lot of other things to talk about. Maybe we pick one or two that we want to talk about. We still got Pittsburgh that's now fucking good. Denver that's now fucking good. Like, crazy, man.
Yeah, it seems like defense is running the league right now. a team like Pittsburgh, a team like Denver, if you can rebound on defense, kind of just do enough on offense, that seems like the way to get yourself back in contention. I need to watch that 49ers game again because I was locked in on the big one. I was locked in on the Chiefs Bills. Watch all of that. Like I didn't in the early game, I was all on Steelers, Ravens and stuff. So I didn't get a chance to watch that 49ers game yet. But wow, I mean, I was kind of thinking I'd be one of those guys that was just buying all year long, not against Seattle because we both like Seattle here, but I like the 49ers. That's normally a team I'm very comfortable betting, but after another loss like this, I think it's probably time to start having some serious conversations about this offense. Obviously, Kittle out. It's looking like he might be out again next week, possibly. That's what I was seeing. Maybe the week after he comes back. Not only do you lose a great tight end, you lose the blocking as well, which obviously facilitates the run game. I think for me, the only thing only takeaway I have so far before rewatching the game is I probably just have to put my life savings on like Christian McCaffrey next week, like whatever, like receiving, receptions, because that's the answer. If you have a problem, you can't figure it out. I think it's just give the ball to CMC as much as humanly possible and hope he and the defense can dig you out of this one a little bit. But yeah, that was crazy to me. The Pittsburgh game, obviously. Pittsburgh getting all the good juju in the world, the missed kicks. I mean, watching Tucker out there missing is crazy. It's absolutely insane. A guy that's been so automatic for so long, not doing the thing he's done is Tomlin's got that voodoo. He's got that magic, man. That guy, they win games. They win close games. I don't know how, but they tough it out. I was very glad, had no money on the spread, no money on the anything, could just enjoy it, sit back and watch. And it was a great football game too, exactly what that Steelers-Ravens rivalry is about. So I really liked that game. That was a fun one.
Yeah, what about I got to talk about a little bit about Vegas here. What about them being freaking 48.5 total in that game? And it was getting steamed up, bro, in that Steelers game. And then turned into like a normal one. It turned into the ones that we kind of always expected, obviously with the explosive offenses of these two teams, or specifically the Ravens. Derrick Henry only getting like 12 carries. What I don't understand that, but Todd Monken always finds a way to fuck something up throughout the year. So, yeah, let's. I think that's good. I think we can start breaking down this game right now. I'm going to FanDuel right now, getting the exact numbers. Let's talk about this game tonight. So we got Houston at Dallas. 48.5 is now up to 7.5 for Dallas, plus 7.5, minus 122 on FanDuel. Give me a little spiel on it. Give me what you think. One of the four sides, obviously, the way we usually go.
Yeah, I mean, I think MSA in the chat kind of nailed the vibe when he asked the question, any idea why the Texans are only -7? I think that's the question of the week. I think that's what we're all trying to figure out, because even 7.5, a little juice. You can get 7 if you want right now for -115. Like, there's enough options. It's been around for long enough that, like, I think when I look at this, and I think a lot of other people, we're thinking 10 at least, right? We just saw Cooper Rush throw for 45 yards last week against the Eagles. And I would say the Eagles and Texans are pretty comparable teams. They're both above average, good defenses, strong pressure, and got good coaching, especially on the defensive side of the ball. So when I kind of look at these two teams, I see a lot of similarities, and I'm trying to figure out what can Dallas learn from that loss in enough time so that they don't get absolutely smoked today. I think the biggest thing, CJ Stroud on the road has not been good, like ever. Like, I don't want CJ Stroud really, like, either outdoors in the cold or on the road, or the two kind of things that I get a little bit nervous with them. And I'm a big CJ fan as well. The real question, though, is Dallas's defense like good enough to take advantage of that? Right? No Deron Bland still back, so Diggs is still your best corner. If you haven't been paying attention, he's got the name value. He's not been very good this year. Diggs has not been a corner you should really be scared of at all, even though last year he was almost underrated. People were, not giving him enough credit, but he's dealing with some injury stuff all year long. So when I look at this game, I see a Texans team that's going to pressure. They're going to be super aggressive on defense. They're not going to sit back and cover two. They're not going to play, prevent defense all game. They're going to come at you. They're going to blitz. They're going to send the house to Cooper Rush. I'm just not sure he can do enough. I think the path for Dallas here is quite simple. It's going to be Rico Dowdle getting like 15 carries in the first half. And if he can do something with those 15 carries, if he can, get a couple first downs, they can slow the clock down, they can keep the Texans offense off the field, then maybe they can get themselves an ugly cover here. Maybe. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think Houston's going to dominate them. I think they're going to run the ball on them all game long. I don't think Dallas is going to be able to control time of possession at all. I just don't have any faith whatsoever. So I'll take the Texans right here, -7. It's the chalkiest bet in the world. I've got a bunch of Texans money lines still parlayed with like Jake Paul pretty much from the weekend and stuff. So I do need the Texans money line, personally a good little bit right here. And I really don't see any reason why they'd lose this game. So maybe you got something better here, but it's chalky, it's popular, but I still like the Texans.
Yeah, no, I don't know if I can, just because it just, I just feel weird about it, and when we've had these on the show where it's like, why is this there? It always goes that side, right? We talked about the Browns, right? Why are the Browns dog? They flip and then they get smoked. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something about some of these weird spreads has been kind of going a little weird, right? Because I know we talked about that one on show, and then all of a sudden 3 points flips us to the other side being favored in the Browns, and that was one that we thought was one of those kind of weird lines there. So I think I'd just take an under in this game. I think that clock's going to be running almost the whole second half with the Texans having the ball. And I like that you mentioned the home road splits for CJ Stroud, because I think that's why no one really thinks of them as a contender, right? Because they're not getting the 1 seed, bro. You're going to Buffalo, you're going to Kansas City, and what are you gonna do? Run Mixon 25 times into that defense?
They're gonna try.
You know what I'm saying? Like they just do it. Like it's just like that's what they have to do to win.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, when the names come up, it's now the Steelers, it's now the Chargers. It isn't Houston. Houston is not in that realm anymore, and I think that's why. And I mean, the stuff about CJ Stroud on the road is pretty well documented. I think a lot of people have talked about it, a lot of people have heard about it, and obviously a lot of people believe it with them not really close in that future Super Bowl market. So I think I'll take the under. And like I said, I guess my question is, what are the odds that Cooper Rush makes it through the whole fucking game? That's seriously my question.
Yeah.
Like if you had to put like a percentage, of him finishing this game, what would your percentage be on Cooper Rush finishing?
That's a good question. I'd say finishing the game completely.
Like he plays the entire game, maybe a couple packages for Trey Lance.
Yeah, I'd say like 60%.
60?
Like, and that's
like 70, 75, but that's still a fucking 1/4 of the time he's out. You know what I'm saying? Like
it's like they traded a 4th round pick for Trey Lance. That's not nothing in the NFL. That's like at least you want to see what he's got. Why not? We just saw what Cooper Rush has last week. It's not good. We all know it's not good. Give the kid a chance. Like I don't see why they wouldn't have that mentality. So for me, I feel like it's got to be a short leash. Like I'd be disappointed if we don't see Trey Lance today. I think that's probably in the best interest of the team, So we'll see what happens. But I agree. I'm like 60%, honestly.
Yeah, and I don't think that McCarthy's smart enough to run packages for Trey Lance. I was just saying like a normal, competent head coach would do that. But he is a piece of shit and sucks at coaching. So I've been saying this for 5 years. Everybody's like, oh, he's got a ring. No, he doesn't. Aaron Rodgers got a fucking ring and gave it to him. That's pretty much what he did, because Mike McCarthy did nothing but eat fucking cheeseburgers. I'm telling you, that dude sucks. He's terrible. And now everybody else gets to see it, and I get to hear him get bashed. Even though I've been here for 3 years in a row telling you, this dude's a shit head coach. And I finally get to feel good about it and just watch him just get roasted now on ESPN. Hilarious. So, Stu, we got pretty similar plays today. So, obviously, I'll let you take it away because you got the plus money spot. We love to see it. So, I'll let you take it away and crush this one.
Yep, I took Joe Mixon 100 rushing yards at plus 150. That's on ESPN. You can get plus 140 on FanDuel as well, which is the best, widely available right there. I just get every point you can right now. Some spots are down to, plus 120. I think anything like plus 125 or better is what I'd be looking for. Because, I was going to play, 89, whatever it is, 87. But all those spots are like minus 130. They're a little bit juiced. When your carry number is set at 21, when you're a guy that's likely going to be getting this insane volume, I want the plus money instead. I'll pay for 10 more yards to get plus 150 and feel much better about my bet. Because when we look at Joe Mixon, this is one of the highest volume running backs in the league. This is a guy, which, the thing I like the most about the game log, funnily enough, when you look at, he had 4 straight weeks before last week where he carried the ball over 21 times, right? 4 straight weeks, 100 yards, just dominating. What I like the most, though, is 25 for 46 against the Lions, because that showed exactly what the fuck we know about Bobby Slovic, which is this guy cannot change his game plan. He's so wedded to this we need to run on every 1st and 10. And that was my problem with these guys last year. I love CJ Stroud. I'm a big fan. Their offensive game plan is so predictable. It's the most predictable in the league because every 1st and 10, it's going to be Joe Mixon right there. And that's why throughout his whole career, he's being hit behind the line of scrimmage this year more than any other year. And despite that, he still has good advanced metrics. He's still breaking tackles at a high level. But this is a guy that's been a high volume back his whole career and is now getting hit behind the line of scrimmage at like a 5% higher rate because every single team is already game planning, knowing that he's going to be out there running on 1st and 10. The good news, it doesn't seem to matter because when you're going to carry the ball 21, 22 times, when you get that many cracks at these modern defenses right now, where we don't really prioritize the linebackers as much, we're worried about sitting back and cover 2, eliminating explosive plays, you're going to be able to break off a couple big plays. And if you're going to get 20 carries a game against a team like the Cowboys, who are allowing the 2nd most rushing yards, 1st adjusted line yards, last EPA per play against the rush, you can look at whatever advanced metric you want. These guys suck against the run. And now we got Micah Parsons back. He's not really a run stuffer. Obviously, one of the best pass rushers in the league, a very versatile guy. If anything, I'd say that's more encouragement to continue to hand the ball off as much as possible, considering even in that shit show last week, Parsons did get 2 sacks. He did, still kind of do the Micah Parsons thing. He made an impact on the game, even though it was obviously such a big blowout. So I think it's going to be run city. I already talked about it earlier. 1st and 10, we're running on every single 1st and 10. That's how they've been since the start of last year. It didn't matter if it was Dameon Pierce at 1 yard per carry or not, but we're going up against this team, right? Last week, the Lions, you lose a close game. You still run the ball 1.8 yards per carry on 25 carries. Like, that's such an insane commitment to a losing strategy that it's giving me confidence that, okay, when you're back against the wall, if this game doesn't start out the way we want it to, this is still a team that is going to be fully committed to the game plan. But the good news is when we can look at all these other weeks, right, where he's getting 20 carries, he's at 100 yards, right? His only miss was that game he got injured against the Bears, right? He did have one lower volume game as well where he had 13 carries against the Patriots, still cleared 100 yards in that game, still had a good rushing performance. So in the games that he was not impacted by an injury, he's a 20 carry per game workhorse. Now he gets the worst rush defense in football, a team that's not going to be able to do anything on offense. You're not going to have the ball in your hands. They're going to dominate time of possession in this one, and the Texans are going to continue to do what they do to everyone else, which is grind you out. It's going to be ugly, probably a little bit slow, may not be the most efficient at first, but I mean, just when you get a guy that's going to carry the ball 23, 24 times a game, like I want that. I want that volume. It gives you so many different chances to break off a big one. I think over 15 and a half longest rush is a good look as well. You see a guy like Derrick Henry, 19 and a half, Saquon 17. I'm not saying Mixon is on that level, but he's on that carry level. He's on that workload level. And it's just about opportunities at the end of the day. So obviously we could go on and on and on about this one, but I think it's pretty simple. I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to control clock. I think they're going to control time of possession. I think they're going to dominate. So I have a lot of confidence in Joe Mixon. I like the plus 150. I want as much Joe Mixon as I can really get. It's a race against a blowout, I think. That's my opinion. If it's 35-5, he probably comes out in the fourth quarter. But seeing that Patriots performance, 13 for 100 earlier in the year, like it gives me confidence we can get there in 3 quarters. So I'm locking it in, getting the plus money. Let's go.
Yeah, I think he's actually on another tier than Derrick Henry now after only a 12-carry game. So he might be in his own little world now. He's kind of just living there. We saw his number. I'm obviously playing Mixon as well. I'm playing at 70 with my favorite NBA guy for tonight. Joe Mixon, 21.5 is his line right now. Minus 125 to the over for carries tonight. And I feel like that's got to be the most smashed line, and it's going to keep going up. I expect that to be like 22, 23, bro, because everybody's going to look at game log. About an hour before the game, everybody's like, oh, football's on tonight. We're going to go check it. That shit is going to get steamed up because this guy has been just getting crazy numbers there. I think the only way this doesn't hit is if the Cowboys take the lead, and if the only way the Cowboys take the lead is on like pick six. Take a Dallas touchdown defensive. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's really the only way I see this game going where they're losing, right? How else are they scoring? Like, I don't understand how we think that Dallas is going to score. But, 21.5 line. Looking at the Cowboys right now on the year, allowing 4.5 yards per carry. Throughout the year right now, they're allowing a little bit over 110 yards per game to running backs. And does Mixon even come off the field? Like, all those other ones are with like combo backs. Like Dare Ogunbowale is coming in there to catch a pass and go sit. Mixon needs a drink of Gatorade, get him out. Like, that's literally what it's going to be. Like, he's literally on the field. It's him and Alvin Kamara, bro. Those are the two dudes with the workload like this because they just go off for a play and they come right back in, right? It's really tough to find running backs this day and age that do that. So shout out Joe Mixon. Hopefully he's ready for another workload, man. Drink that water before the game, bro. We ain't cramping. I know you're going to be running out there a lot, so make sure you're drinking that water. But I'm going over to Zach LaVine for my combo spot. I do these on all Monday and Thursday games just because I am getting into NBA a decent amount, college basketball a decent amount. So I love LaVine tonight. I think he's going to come out just absolutely sniping. They got absolutely bludgeoned last night. Like, they're coming on a back-to-back, and I get that. Like, makes some people nervous. But the dude played 26 minutes. He's a 36 to 38-minute-a-game guy. And they got beat by 40, bro. They got 40-piece by Houston with giving up a Sengun triple-double, right? So we've seen one other game so far this year where he's gone back-to-back, and that was a game against the Bucks, and then he played the next day against the Thunder, one of the toughest teams. He put up 22-9 in that game in 34 minutes. So not unaccustomed to, playing those back-to-backs. Also, he only played 26 last night, and the two misses have been his last two games, right? He hit this number in the last 4 games specifically of this month. And the only reason he missed these two is because he got in foul trouble in the Cavaliers game, and the Cavaliers put up 144. This defense is horrendous, right? So you gave up 144, had 5 fouls. He had 9 assists in that game. And then Houston, he played 26 minutes. But before that, he went New York, Cleveland, Atlanta, Brooklyn, all of them hitting 18. I think this is a phenomenal spot. He's going to shoot the ball 20 times tonight. Fast-paced game. Detroit plays fast. Chicago is a top 3 team in pace this year. It's weird. They used to be the slowest. Now they're fast because they just want to put up numbers, and they know their defense is awful. So you get Cade on a back-to-back. I talked about Cade 2 shows ago on back-to-backs, and he is very capable of doing it. I don't think Durant or any of the bigs down low really matter because LaVine's going to be pulling up anyway, shooting a ton of threes. I'm expecting about 17 to 20 shot attempts in this game. Elite at getting to the free throw line as well. When he gets in there, he's a good free throw shooter. I'm ready for it, baby. I'm ready for Zach LaVine. they're going to put like Jaden Ivey, Cade on him. Like, you know what they're trying to do. They can't get in foul trouble. Those are the 2 guys that run this whole team. And Tim Hardaway's probably still out, right? I mean, they're just – you can't foul, right? And I think LaVine's just going to go right at him there. So really, really like this spot for LaVine, and obviously love Joe Mixon. Love your 100. I'll be playing his regular line as well. But think with this one with LaVine is a good spot.
Yeah, no, it's a good combo. Like you said, that seems like obviously I'm on Mixon. I don't need to talk about that too much. But the Bulls Pistons just seems like a good offensive environment. It just seems like a game where we're going to get a lot of points. And you kind of nailed it. Obviously, the outside shooting, the volume should be there. And with only playing 26 on a back-to-back, that's light work for an NBA player. You know what I mean? That's a solid day. So definitely like it. That's one of those games we talk about in past years where like it's not going to be good from like a pure basketball fan perspective, but like just from a fun game, I think that's probably going to be just kind of ugly. Both teams chucking it around a little bit. Should be actually a pretty entertaining game to tune into. Yeah,
shout out the Pistons, man. I mean, Kate Cunningham, 6 triple doubles already through 15 games. Already had that a couple times. Nice little couple cashes there, but also 7 and 8. Like, this is not a bad basketball team, right? They're finding a way to win, and they're really injured. So it's like it's the best of both worlds, man. I think you're going to see the big boys play a lot of this game. 234 total. Pistons are a 4-point favorite only. I mean, this is what you want, right? And I want the guys that are going to have heavy volume, and a guy that he ain't looking for assists unless they're doubling. Really, that's really what it is. Because I mean, Vucevic just got absolutely torched last night. They should bench his ass for a game for giving up a triple double to Sengun. Frick, damn, dude, he put up like 72 fantasy points last night, going off on these guys. So back-to-back games. I know there's back-to-backs and people are worried about it, but LaVine has never found a shot he does not like, and I am ready for him to shoot 30 times tonight. Him and Benedict Mathurin, baby. Just shoot the ball 30 times tonight. I'm all in for that.
Nah, man, I like it.
Let's do a quick recap. We got 43 of you guys in here live. If you have any questions, I see a couple of them that we'll talk about here in a second. Just keep dropping them in there. Even if I'll try to get through if you're chopping any college basketball. I'll do it quick. I don't want to obviously talk about it too much on an NFL show, but let's quick recap.
Sounds good. Yeah, Mixon 100 plus rush yards, plus 150 ESPN, plus 140 FanDuel. Like I said, anything like plus 125 or better is what I'd be looking for. Or you can just play the minus 110 on like 90. I just think getting the plus money here is good.
Awesome. And I'll be rolling Zach LaVine, 18 points with Joe Mixon tonight at 70 rushing yards, minus 125. Let's take a look at some questions here. MSA bringing up Cooper Rush already. What's your thoughts on this, Stu, at 175 or 173.5?
Yeah, the what do you call it? The 4-4 guys put it out at 183, so I got a little bite there. But then I played it again last night at minus one or under 177 as well. So I like it. I mean, my thing is, if you guys remember earlier in the year, Malik Willis, where we played the alternate unders, or I played the alternate unders, I was trying to do that again. They're not even offering it to you. You can't even get DraftKings. They're the place that would have it outside of like Bet Rivers or Hard Rock. They might have some limited options, but even on those books, you couldn't get under 2 or 150. So like they wouldn't even let you alt the unders, which to me is kind of telling that they're like, we don't need to put those markets up. We don't even want to see, because fucking the guy threw for 35 yards last week. He got benched halfway through the game. So I like the under. I played the under. I just don't want to have like so much exposure to this game. That's really the one thing keeping me back from going heavy, right? Because thinking about it logically, if Mixon is going off, if they're dominating like we said, and he doesn't get benched, he could get the ugliest over in the world right here in the fourth quarter. So, that's your one concern, but I do have money on the under. I do like the under, and I do have a funny way to bet on Trey Lance that I'll talk about in a second as well.
Yeah, and for me, it's just like, if I'm just betting on straight correlated things, like if it goes the wrong way, I'm just getting hammered.
Exactly.
Like you're betting on a plus 150, Stu, right? Say you want to go hard on that and play it for 2 units, you win 3, right? Okay, you lose it in 2 units. But if you play this with it, it's probably because Cooper Rush has to play pretty damn good, for them to stay in that game and for Joe Mixon not to really get there. So it's just like, I don't want to play a bunch of like correlated stuff unless it's like a same game parlay and I'm not losing 4 bets, not 4 straight bets, So just like a risk management type of thing, like don't like you're better off if you think like you're better off taking Cooper Rush over passing yards with Mixon's rushing yards. You know what I mean? Like, because they're probably kicking their ass and you just want Cooper Rush to just dink and dunk down the field. Like Cooper, if Mixon's cooking, I expect them to be kind of killing him. So I've seen way too many of these backdoor covers, and some of them have been positive for us, like Baker Mayfield a few weeks back on that onside kick. But can you imagine, right? He's at 170 yards and they get the onside kick and then they get this. Something like that's stupid, Yeah. And it happens on these primetime games. That's when they happen. So I do not. Maybe I'll probably have 1 or 2 bets in this game, and they're probably just gonna be all Joe Mixon related. Maybe like a little John Mechie touchdown or something, because I kind of got to. I got to have some long shot in there. But Stu, I'll kick it to you for long shots. Then we'll answer the questions. I see a couple other questions in there related to the basketball stuff. I don't mind Mechie. I kind of want to play a long shot on him, like one of your like crazy. 2 catches, 60 yards, or something like that. Because I mean, volume, I do not see him being there for any receiver tonight.
Yeah, no, I mean, you nailed it with the last question too. Risk management, definitely love that answer right there. But yeah, Mechie, I mean, I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be there on any receiving at all today. Like, it may happen, like Nico Collins, though, is coming back from injury. I would be very surprised if he doesn't get like a 40-yard, target or 2 in the first half, trying to get him back up to speed in prime time a little bit. Like, I don't know, man. It's tough. Yeah, Mechie's tough. I'm with you, though. I'd rather play 40 yards than 17. I'd rather go down to a quarter unit, to $15, to whatever you got to do, than lay, a little bit more serious money on a line like 17.5. So that's just me personally. But, or actually what I'd even do to narrow it down even more is I'd look for first quarter or first half or something like that, or maybe during the game to catch a pass live on the drive. A guy like Mechie would probably be like plus 350 if you're kind of sensing that they're going to be passing heavy, right? Like that could be a good target. So I would just say if I play any passing stuff, it'll have to be in a little bit more creative fashion, trying to target specific game scenarios, because otherwise I'm just too scared that they go up early and there's just no reason to pass that much.
Yeah, I think I just threw a bet in already just because I found one that I like. With these, probably all longest reception for me on any receivers, just because
that's way better.
Yeah. I just bet them right now in case I won't put it on the show or anything. But 45, you guys still in here? I literally just sent out. I know Stu's in my group; he'll see it in a second. But I just took Mechie over 10.5. Longest reception is 10.5, bro. Like, give me a tunnel screen, bro. That guy's getting 11 yards on tunnel screens. Like, I was really surprised to see that sub like 14. I thought it'd be like 13, 14. But I'll take a 10.5. I feel great about that one.
Yeah, longest reception. That's well said. Even better than going to first half or specific or anything, like just one catch. That's what we want to bet on. One catch, not efficiency, not volume, just one catch. So I like that way better. I like the long. Same for even Nico Collins too. I saw some people on like the 80 yards. Like, just give me longest reception, man. I don't want to mess around on the volume there. So I do like that look.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stu, got a couple questions in here. Let's get to them. We got Mitch. Thoughts on Texas first half team total over 12.5. We've seen Texans start a little slower in some of these games. We talked about CJ Stroud struggle on the road, but this Dallas defense has been pretty bad, bro. What's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I like it. I mean, that seems low to me. You're more the first quarter guy or first half than I am. I know you look at the first half scoring and stuff a lot. I to be honest, don't really focus too much on that, the half betting, but to me, this just off the top of my head sounds really good. I mean, I have a hard time not seeing him score 13 points unless, once again, like Rico Dowdle can just slow the game down for Dallas, can get a couple first downs. Maybe that makes it ugly enough, but yeah. Then I guess DeMeco Ryans is a bit of a conservative head coach. He doesn't like to go for it on 4th and 2 early. He might be a guy that kicks that 45-yarder rather than going for it. So, little things like that could mess with you, but overall, I definitely like it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. One more basketball one, or one more NFL one, and then I'll answer a couple of these NBA or NBA NCAA plays. Can the Bucks make the playoffs? They have Baker Mayfield. That's all you need to know. That's a fuck yeah. Baker Mayfield wins these games and give me a wild card game. They gotta put Baker at like a primetime 7 p.m. game. Then I'm taking Bucks. I don't care who they play. Give me him against the Chiefs. Give me him against the Bills. You get Baker in primetime, bro. Him or Geno in primetime. Best players in the game, bro. Best players in the game.
Yeah, no complaints from me. I like the Bucks. I just, I wish their defense was a little better. But that's okay. Baker, I agree. He keeps you in games.
LaVine over 2.5 threes is plus 120-ish. Not a bad spot. Don't mind that. Maybe a buy down spot too to combo in that same game. I don't mind like Duran rebounds or something in that one too. You could throw in. I am not on Gonzaga points. I am not. It's tough, but they're playing San Diego State in San Diego State. Unfortunately, and San Diego State plays slow. That's a good gym for them. They play really well there, and they're deep. They suck. They play. They're not good. San Diego State lost like everybody. Like we were talking about them last year. Like Jaden Ledee, good. Trammell, really good. They're gone, bro. They're literally gone. So I don't see them scoring too many points. If you want to take anything, probably Gonzaga team total because I'm a sucker for that, man. I play it almost every fucking game they play. Oh, shit. They blow teams out so bad, and I love it. So, Stu, I think you talked about this. Did you want to talk about this at all, or did you want to save it for Twitter?
Yeah, I need to look at a couple things. Okay. But there's a sack prop I like in this game. I do, and it's not Micah Parsons too. It's on the side. So that's all. I need to look a little bit more, but I do like some defensive stuff in this game. I did it more last year. This year, Ryan Noonan in the 4for4 Discord like models, projects. The guy knows everything. So I've kind of taken a back seat. Trusted his defensive stuff a little bit more. But there is a sack prop I do like tonight, but I don't want to give that out yet. I want to look a little bit more into it before I pull the trigger. But yeah, there's some interesting defensive stuff tonight for sure. And logically, anytime a quarterback is going to be dropping back a bunch of times and a team gets a lot of pressure, it's probably going to be a pretty good look there. So I do like that. And I do have 2 quick, crazy long shots. They're not like, this is like $5. This is not like for real. But makes a lot of sense with the game theory. We're going to start out Dameon Pierce last touchdown, 40-1. Bet MGM right now, 17-1 on FanDuel. FanDuel's right, MGM's wrong, so go take it on MGM instead. Even 30-1 on DraftKings as well. I like both of those numbers. Pierce is going to be the backup. He's going to be the guy that gets that late, usage. You nailed it. Dare Ogunbowale technically might be number 2, but that's because he's the pass catcher. It's very simple what he does. He's not going to get that late garbage time work if that does happen, right? If we are up late and they're taking control of the game, I think Pierce gets involved. So for that same reason on the other side, Trey Lance last touchdown, baby. We're going for the benching. Trey Lance last touchdown is 35-1 on Caesars right now. Will either of these bets win? Probably not. Do I think they have a much better chance at kind of outperforming their odds based on the game script we all expect? Definitely. Because I think a lot of us are already kind of penciling in that Trey Lance is going to get some opportunities in this game, whether he's the starter or even if it's a red zone package later in the game. Maybe, Texans are up 2 scores. They're playing prevent defense. They don't really give a fuck what happens. So for me, I think 40-1, 35-1, you only got to spend $5, $10 on them. I need a sweat in this game. I need a fun long shot. It's very hard to find. I think these kind of fit the game script I'm envisioning a lot. So I fired on those.
Yeah, I'm I'm like way down the board on what I want to play here for a long shot. I think I'm gonna stick with my boy Mechie, and I'm gonna roll with my boy Rico Dowdle. I'm gonna play both of them to be the top receivers of the game, and I'm gonna play them both. And you look at Rico Dowdle, 70-1, 7,000.
Okay,
and I can get Mechie at 41-1. Would you be surprised if Nico Collins doesn't play the second half in this game? I wouldn't. Dude's been injured so much, bro. Injured so much. Tank Dell hurt all the time, bro. Like, if they get up in this game 14 points, we could see John Mechie out there in the 1 and having Xavier Hutchinson move to the slot, right? You want to know the best part is usually, I don't know if it works like that on FanDuel, but they don't take it if the guy's not listed. So if they're not listed, Xavier Hutchinson ain't listed. So if those 2 guys are going out there, I ain't even got to worry about them. So CeeDee Lamb has a shit guy throwing to him. I don't think he's going to be able to get the ball down the field too much. I think if I'm going to play anybody on the Cowboys, it's Dowdle just on dump-offs. And if he can make one guy miss, we can start seeing some chunk plays. So he's projected 2.5 catches, -140 to the over. I mean, even if you look at CeeDee, it's 5.5. Right? It's 5.5. His longest reception is not where it usually is. I think I feel pretty good about those, dude. Like, those are really long odds on these in a game where you're obviously limited in what you can play.
I like this. They gave us a shit game, and we said, fuck it. We're going to find something in here. Because I agree with both those angles very much, especially Dowdle, honestly. I've definitely gone that direction a bunch of times with kind of the check down guy, someone that could benefit there. I mean, at a couple bucks, you really don't have to spend much to win a lot at all right here. Like I said, both of ours are just like tossing $5. Don't go to McDonald's. Don't get the Big Mac this week. Spend the $5 elsewhere. It'll do you good here. I like this a lot. I think it's a very fun way to get a little bit of good action in on this crazy game.
Make sure you tell me your long shot again so I can at least put one of them in here, just so I have it. So just in case it hits, because I don't want it to be up there and you have to dig through 50 minutes of this shit to come find your little 3-second blurb. Yeah. What is the one that you want me, or 1 or 2 that you want me to put?
Yeah, Pierce last TD at 40-1, and then
they both last TD.
Yeah, Trey Lance last TD 35-1.
Lance plus 40.
Yeah,
plus 40 to. Oh my god, damn. And
Pierce was what? Pierce is 40-1. Lance is 35-1.
Damn, that's crazy that they're giving Lance a better number than Pierce. That's crazy.
Yeah, but they know. And I mean, honestly, in my head, seeing it out, I mean, Pierce makes logical sense, but we can so see a late drive, check down, prevent defense. Texans don't give a fuck. They're up 21. Like, to me, that just seems so, like, doable, in a game like this. So hopefully we get Lance sooner than later as well, but definitely love, getting a little crazy with this game here.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't think I've ever played a long shot than this outside of maybe a triple-double in NBA or something, So, yeah, I mean, I can see both of these things kind of happening. Just we're going to be sweating some god-awful game, bro. God-awful. But, yes, it's Should be fun. I'm excited for this one. I'm gonna have to actually like go find it and play it now.
No, it's a little added extra motivation to tune into this game when it, at halftime likely sucks beyond imagine. So definitely pumped. Definitely think we found some good ways to make a little bit of money, even if it's not the best game in the world.
What, Stu? What do you want to say to the people before we head out? We got 4:38 live with us, 50 minutes in. What do you got for them?
Not much, man. I'm just ready to have a good fucking week. Back-to-back kind of annoying Sundays. Love the reads here. Just looking forward to turning the tides a little bit, jumping back on top and getting some winners out here. I'm excited. Fun week of football. A lot of stuff to revisit. Get ready for next week. Yeah, I'm just ready to go, man. Ready to win some bets. Ready to, watch this game tonight. Not much else besides that. Leave a like if you haven't already. If you got a question, drop it in the comments. We'll still answer it, even if you're not here live. We understand. It's a Monday. Work week just started. Drop it in the comments. We'll get to it. That's all I got to say.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Update on our record. It is 39-30, 8.93 units, making sure we still get you guys that every show. And obviously, we'll be back on Wednesday. I'll probably have a little bit more NBA. In that one, and we have a Thursday night game, I believe. Decent one, right? We got Pittsburgh versus Cleveland. Jameis is throwing for 300 again. Just bet that already. It's Jameis Winston, bro. In prime time, get those W's out, baby. Get those W's out. Start eating that shit, bro. He's going off, bro. It don't matter. I don't care if he's playing all Hall of Famers, bro. That boy is throwing the ball 50 times. And completing at least 40 of them. So sign me up. That's going to be a fun game. Probably about 9,000 rushing yards from Najee Harris just running up the middle or 9,000 attempts, just 2-yard runs. So
yeah,
excited to talk about it. We get to talk about Jameis. That's all I want, man. That's all we want to do is talk about Jameis. So thank you guys. See you Wednesday. Back here, normal time. We'll be ready to roll. So thank you guys, and best of luck tonight.